And the fact that that is just the way it is has Heathrow Airport's CEO now saying job losses could be coming. They won't be reopening all the terminals until next year. They've consolidated into just 2. And I asked the CEO how long did he think it would be before passengers came back.
Effectively, nobody has been flying for the last few months for understandable reasons. The only people flying have been either people who are repatriating because they've been stuck in the wrong country, or they've been having to get somewhere for medical needs. So it's been really minimum level of flying. And then, of course, we've had a quarantine in place for the last month, which has meant that most countries have been closed off unless you're prepared to self-isolate for 14 days. Now, of course, that is starting to change, and we're starting to see a slow return of passengers to air travel.
What's the biggest problem you're facing at Heathrow? Because you're working with very low numbers at the moment. And I think it was you who basically said social distancing can't really be done in an airport with the best will in the world. And you were right. You were the one who spoke the truth that dare not speak it. You can't socially distance in an airport.
No, you can't. And so instead, we put in other measures to keep people safe when they are traveling. And now there are standards that are agreed by the Centre for Disease Control, which will keep people safe while they're going through an airport and on the plane, so people can be confident while they are traveling. The big challenge is getting people traveling again, opening borders again, which is why we need to think ahead to how do we make it possible that you can, when you board a plane in New York, you can travel knowing you're going to be able to get onto your destination.
You've moved terminals, you've shut some terminals. I assume you're a long way from thinking about moving them all back into other. So this is going to be a while. What about your own ability? I mean, you make money from retail and from landing fees and from charges and parking charges. They are not happening.
Well, we make money. All of our revenue is tied to passengers. If people aren't flying, then we make no income. And that's basically where we've been in the last few months. So as a business, we have been cutting our outgoings. We've cut it from about £250 million a month down to about 150. So that's taken a lot of action. We've reorganized our company. We've tried to avoid job losses through that, but we're coming to a point where we may need to do that. So it's been really challenging from a business point of view. But we can't cost cut our way out of this crisis. The only way to come through this for the entire aviation sector is to get people flying again, as long as it is safe to do so, which is why we need to focus on putting measures in place which will keep people safe, not just on the plane and in the airport, but when they're crossing the border as well.
And what is your timescale barometer for reopening the closed terminals?
We don't think we'll be opening Terminal 4 until sometime next year. Terminal 3, we could be opening later this year, really depending on demand. And I think the test will be when we think we'll see more people coming back to fly in the summer, to go on their summer holidays. And so we expect to see an uplift there. Will they then come back and fly for business in September and October? That's the critical time. And we won't know until we get there. The lead time for booking flights has come down. Most people aren't booking more than 2 weeks in advance. And so we'll have very little visibility about what future demand is. Actually, the best way to get a sense for what future demand is to look at web searches. And if you look at the Google searches, that is a lead indicator of whether people want to go flying or not. And that suggests that people do want to fly.